this past Raw was super stacked at MSG. We got essentially a bunch of new match announcements, and here we're going to be primarily talking about, finally we're getting that IC ladder match. We're getting that ladder match return to Mania, getting that big kind of huge spot, Hardy, Dudley, Christian, Ode, having Penta, defend the title essentially and cut a promo essentially talking about his legacy in those types of matches, which hasn't really been totally realized yet in WWE. But if you're a fan of Penta and knowing kind of, him and his Lucha Bro, Rey Fenix, and the matches he's had with like the Young Bucks over in AEW, and matches he's had in like ROH with like the Briscoes and all the just the various crazy like cage matches and tag like ladder matches that they've had kind of all around the world, that Penta is like kind of a master of the hardcore. For him to kind of call the ladder, the ladder match his kingdom, which I think is just a fire promo. And like he as someone who English is not his first language, his intensity, his charisma is so Shinsuke like, where it's like it just oozes so much that like it's infected, like it's infectious, you know what I mean, where it's like you just latch on to like every word he's saying and you want to join him on that ride, so when he's kind of talking about suspending his belt from the top, like we as a crowd pop super hard for that, knowing that he's putting the IC title on the line in the ladder match. And then the match contestants, all these guys, like all these I think really top of the line mid-card guys who've had a lot of moments this year to shine and start showing off, like Rusev, Javon Evans, you know what I mean? You have JD McDonough in there. This is going to be a banger match. This is a true showcase match in that, there wasn't any really build to this. And I do feel like there hasn't been a build to many of the stories or many of the matches kind of happening on this card specifically as well. But that, like I said, is another video. In that, I think with this IC kind of title ladder match, we're getting a lot of opportunity to let these guys show out, similar to how we saw kind of those tag teams do it on that what was it, this SummerSlam, I think, TLC match that they had, or not SummerSlam, it was the SmackDown TLC match that happened, I think, either after SummerSlam or after a Mania, that really should have been on that Mania. It was I think Mania 41, right, with the world title tag match was on the card, but then the TLC like triple threat was like off, which is like in terms of booking, you would think, right, like you would have that crazy kind of super produced, super high spot match like on the Mania card, right? But I guess they learned their lesson now, which is really good, so we're gonna get like Penta, we're gonna get a lot of these guys, JD doing crazy spots off ladders, and especially for Mania, I know like it's just really, I feel really happy for Penta. He's always been, obviously, despite being like someone who could have easily had a Hall of Fame legacy, never ever stepping foot in WWE, you can tell how much he loves and how much he's always wanted to be there, and it's that passion radiates, and I can't wait to see how this match is produced as well, because like I said, like these everyone who's basically in here, like Javon getting a WrestleMania match here too, which he had a post-match promo essentially just kind of talking about, or not post-match promo, but like a commercial segment promo that we got to see in the crowd that I was super hyped for. I kept yelling for, because he couldn't even contain his excitement, that he was just, announced for a big IC title ladder match at Mania. Rusev being like the big man in that match, coming back. I think he has been a real big team player, made Oba look fantastic in that match that happened a couple weeks back on Raw. Had a couple bangers with Sheamus as well when he came back, and he's always been amazing. And I think especially since he came back as Miro in AEW, his mic skills have elevated to kind of give him that dark, like menacing presence where you're like, bro, damn, he's like spitting bars right now. You know what I mean? Like he's just gonna break you. Hopefully in this match, a lot of people get spots to really showcase and show out that character and get that casual WrestleMania crowd who likes to come for that to really be familiar with these super awesome mid-card guys who eventually will ascend the card too, and maybe you see some future world champions in there essentially. But yeah, just overall, just super happy with like an IC title match coming to Mania. I initially thought that the women's tag match would be kind of for in a ladder match or some sort of stipulation, but they are kind of doing a multi-match, which I'll also get into as well. But super happy to see that Penta will be defending the IC title at WrestleMania in a huge capacity, in a capacity that he's super familiar with, that I think now the WWE fans will have a real good time getting to learn, which is super cool. So let me know what you guys kind of think about that. I think it's super awesome. Let me know what you guys think is gonna, or who's gonna, I guess, keep the IC title, or if Penta will retain it. And I'll see you guys in the next video.